Return to Glory podcast, August 7th. 3 weeks exactly until opening kickoff. It feels like we're getting very, very close because we are getting very, very close to opening weekend. Week 0, I guess, is the week before the Farmageddon, K-State, Iowa State on August 23rd. So that'll be here before we know it. Hunter Zarbanicki here, Dakota Freetag, and Austin Rose. We are doing a whole NCAA FBS Division I preview today for you. We're going to go through every conference. There's technically 10 of them. Some of them we're going to go through faster than others. We'll spend some more time on the big hitters. We all have our own that we were assigned to do, guys. How'd the research go?
Yeah, it went all right.
It
Notes aren't great, so we'll see how it shakes out.
went pretty easy thanks to a tool that just got made a couple of years ago.
Yeah, thank you, AI. I think that's something that for this made it a lot easier. It didn't involve a lot of time of researching and digging into different websites and stuff because there's probably not a whole lot out there, but AI can do it for you really quick. So thank you. Dak, did you use ChatGPT? That's my go-to.
I use Grok.
Austin, did you use AI?
Just good old-fashioned articles out there.
Look at
It
you.
just throws like 6 different websites together because it's tough to find anything on these conferences and just throws a good preview together.
So yeah, Husker news before we get going. Not much out there. I think this week the talk has been a lot about player personnel. There's a scrimmage on Saturday. We didn't talk about that on Monday much, but people coming out of that, looking good as always. I think this week I've heard just a lot of conversation on the running back situation. And Austin, you mentioned that might be a concern on Monday, or maybe it was someone else I was talking to, that room, there's just, I don't know. There's a lot of question marks as far as the depth. Emmett Johnson obviously appears to be the clear-cut one and also looked good, but I think after that, it's kind of an open game between several different running backs, which we'll talk more about later, but that's kind of the big takeaway that I've heard from this week in the scrimmage.
Yep, that's kind of what I heard too.
Okay, conference previews, here we go. So first couple, again, the lower conferences, we're going to get through them, so bear with us. Keeping them short.
You just make them sound pain.
They are pain.
I'm excited to talk about West, baby.
So yeah, we'll keep them short here, but maybe give you a couple of advice if you're going to go make any bets. But Conference USA is what I'm starting with here. There are 12 teams in Conference USA. My favorite, the Delaware Blue Hens, new to the Division I ranks. But anyways, the heavy favorite, the Liberty Flames. They were 13-1 last year. Easily the champions last year. Caden Salter is their quarterback. He's now moved on to Oregon. Head coach Jamie Chadwell is in his second year at the Flames. They have a good running back coming back. They're the heavy favorites. They're almost even odds to win the conference. I do like their win total over as well. They're playing in a conference that doesn't have many great teams, and they are an attraction to come play at from transfers, and so that they're going to have more talent than everybody else in this conference. So, I mean, any over win total you can find, that'd be a good one, I would think. Who's contending them? Western Kentucky. They have a pretty explosive offense coming back. Louisiana Tech, Jacksonville State, Sam Houston State. A lot of different things there. A couple of new head coaches in the conference, but nothing really worth mentioning. So biggest takeaway from Conference USA, Liberty, the heavy favorites.
Nice.
Yeah. Any comments on Conference USA?
I thought Kane Salter went to Colorado.
Maybe he did go to Colorado. I think he might have. You're right. It was not Oregon.
I
It's
thought he
still
did.
early. Yep, he's at Colorado. He's definitely not at Oregon. Colorado. Good
Because
catch.
I saw a picture of him the other day. He has that weird face, or like I don't know, his face mask goes halfway up his forehead.
Yes. Dak, the floor is yours. American Conference.
All right. So the big thing is, that right is they've had divisions every year. They've had this conference. This year, there's no divisions, so they'll just top two teams go to the title game. Memphis is the heavy favorite here. It's because their quarterback, he's led the conference in passing the last 3 years. And that is Seth Hannigan. The next favorite team, I guess, is UTSA. Their quarterback is Owen McCowan. Who's the son of that? Or who's his dad? Yep. Boom. He had 24 TDs, 7 picks last year. I guess you can say that's good. I don't know about that. All right. Next one. The next favorite is South Florida. And then after that, you get pretty downhill. Another key player is Bryson Daly. Apparently, he's supposed to be a good triple option quarterback for Army this year. The key games is Memphis at South Florida on September 20th. Now the most, unless Grok was wrong, the most interesting thing I found out was Army Navy is not the last game of the year this year. That's on October 25th.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Yeah,
That is
now unless
disappointing.
Grok was wrong, that's what it said. Which while Austin's doing that, I'm gonna go fact check that. And then the next big game is UTSA at East Carolina, October 4th.
Okay, the only comment I have to add that I'm kind of excited for, but I also like their win total over. The Rice Owls, new coach, they are completely converting to the triple option.
Really?
Their win total's 3.5, one of the lowest in the conference. Obviously Army and Navy are in here as well. So when they play them, they're probably just going to get destroyed because those two teams are masters of it. But I do think just going against triple option and a new version of it's hard to do. So that's my favorite, but I thought that was an interesting thing. And you know what? If you're Rice, like, why not?
Army Navy is December 13th. So
Hey,
sorry,
Grok was wrong. Yep.
Air Force is November 1st.
I was kind of bummed when I thought when it said October 25th because no one's gonna watch that game if it's middle of the season.
He has a bye week the 25th. So maybe it got rescheduled.
I don't know. But yeah, so there's 3 teams in that conference running triple option now.
Oh yeah.
There you go. Fun to watch. Everybody watch American this year.
Austin, Mountain West.
Mountain West. There is one team in the Mountain West Conference ranked preseason top 25, and that is the Boise State Broncos. They're pretty much the clear favorites for the conference. They lost Ashton Genty, but other than that, I think they're still returning quite a few starters. They got some pretty good running backs. Sire Gaines, Malik Sherrod are supposed to be some pretty good running backs back there, so they're not super worried about Ashton Genty's drop off. Returning 6 stars on the defense, they don't expect a big drop off there, so that's kind of why they're heavy favorites to run it back as the championship, big Mountain West champions. This is the Mountain West last hurrah, as you know it. 5 of their teams are going to the Pac-12. So once those 5 teams leave, there will be one team remaining in the Mountain West Conference that has won a championship in the Mountain West Conference. So that's it. This is it for them. UNLV is kind of the only other contender out of there. Last year they made a lot of noise just because I think their head coach left. They had the quarterback controversy where the guy was promised money. I can't remember what his name was. I don't know where he ended up.
Yep,
but they
I
got some
remember
new
that.
Yeah, they got a new quarterback. There's a quarterback battle, I guess. Alex Or it's spelled ORJI. I had to say this one on
That's
pod.
that's the Michigan guy. The former
It is the
Michigan
Michigan guy. Yeah. So
Can't throw the ball.
Dan Mullen is their head coach now. Take that as you will. Third time's the charm. Hopefully it works out for him.
guy.
Beyond that, you got
I'm
go for
fading
it.
UNLV. I don't want
Yeah, I'd probably agree with you. If you have a quarterback battle and Dan Mullen as your coach. Outside of that, San Jose State, Fresno State, Colorado State, Air Force, Hawaii, San Diego State, coached by Sean Lewis, former OC of the Colorado Buffaloes. Utah State's got Bronco Mendenhall running the show. Wyoming, Nevada, New Mexico, all probably going to be floating around 500, maybe a little bit above, hoping for bowl eligibility or below.
to. Give me Air
That's it.
Force over 5.5 in that conference. I'm a sucker for the triple option, so I always like that.
Last year they were 5-7, so
yeah, but they came on strong at the end of the year.
Yep.
Was that the team I bet?
I do like San Jose State as well.
Was Air Force the team I bet every single week last year, and they hit I think I lost twice for their spread.
It would have been maybe at the end. The first half of the year they struggled.
Maybe it wasn't Air Force then. I thought it was.
Air Force has had their defense is really good. Their defense scores points.
Yep.
Top 3 point scorer in the last couple of years.
San Jose State's head coach is former Navy coach Ken Niumatalolo as well. Yep. So I like them a lot. Obviously Boise State's a very heavy favorite. At better than 50-50 odds. But I like San Jose State to see him in the title game.
They also have, I think, 3 new head coaches because Wyoming has a new head coach, San Jose State, UNLV, and then they have a couple second-year coaches with Sean Lewis, Hawaii, and Utah. Oh no, Utah State's new as well this year.
Yeah, San Jose State's with Niumatalolo have been there for a couple of years now. I think maybe last year's his first, but okay. Sun Belt, Fun Belt. There are 2 divisions here still. One of the few conferences that have divisions, the East and the West. The favorite out of the East this year, as has been the past couple of years, is James Madison. Bob Chesney's in his second year there. They went 10-3 last year. They are also the favorite to win the conference. A couple of years removed from Kurt Signetti, but they've kept things rolling down there with the James Madison Dukes. A couple other teams there. App State's also in the West. They've kind of fallen off a little bit. In the past few years, they've always kind of been a powerhouse in the Sun Belt. In the West, I guess the favorite is Louisiana, the Ragin' Cajuns out of New Orleans. Troy was the conference winner last year. They're also in the West. They beat Appalachian State in the conference title game. Big storyline here for me is to watch for Southern Miss potentially making a little dark horse run. They took everything from Marshall, including their head coach, and I think about 20 plus players. Marshall had a very good year last year. I didn't write down their head coach's name, but they could not agree upon a new contract as it expired last year. And so he said, all right, I'm going to Southern Miss and bringing everybody with me. Southern Miss's win totals down at 4.5. I think that's a very good overplay if you are looking to put any money down. Coastal Carolina, I think, is falling off too. They've had their years of fun. I think they're falling off here as well. So yeah, Sun Belt. We don't play Georgia Southern, and Clay Helton's not going to beat us this year. So that's the other fun thing to point out.
What a satisfying way to end that. We're not going to lose to Sun Belt this year.
But we could lose to somebody in the MAC.
That's true.
Dak, you're up.
All right. The main point is, and I'll just end it at this: Maction starts November 4th. That's it. No, I'm kidding. All right, there's two heavy favorites here in this conference, and it's Toledo and Miami, Ohio, and then you got Buffalo and Ohio as the next two favorites. But it sounds like Toledo and Miami, Ohio are like going to run this conference. They have 6 new coaches in the conference. Ball State, Bowling Green, Kent State, UMass, Central Michigan all have coaches, new coaches. Now the guy that got fired at Kent State deserves a trophy, Hall of Fame, whatever. He went 1-23. Kenny Burns. That's the most impressive stat ever. I don't know how he lasted that long, but all right, we got the key games here. Miami, Ohio at Ohio, November 4th. Toledo at Buffalo, November 12th. And that's all the key games that they really had on there. Our key players are Daquan Finn, transfer from Baylor. He's their Miami, Ohio quarterback. AJ Henderson is Buffalo's running back. He's supposed to be like by far the best player in the conference. He had 1,078 yards last year. And then the last one, this guy I still have nightmares about all the time. Is Drew Pine from Missouri. He's Bowling Green's quarterback. I really hope he just has the worst year possible.
So why does Maction always start this late?
See, last year it started later, I thought. I always thought it was like middle of October, but I think last year started around that time too.
So just looking at the week by week schedule, it looks like Tuesday and Wednesday we're getting a lot of these conferences we've been talking about, Sun Belt, Conference USA type of games leading up to that. So yeah, Maction doesn't start till November 4th, which is kind of sad, but we get the Fun Belt earlier than that in midweek. Okay.
All right.
Pac 2.
Pac 2.
And the Independent. Don't forget that.
Independence. We'll start with the Pac 2. Pretty bleak. Oregon State, they're hoping to be a little bit better than last year. They're 5-7. Looking to recover after basically everyone left with Coach Smith. Jonathan Smith, that's his first name, correct? Back in 2024 when he left for Michigan State and they lost almost all of their players. So then they kind of had to restart last year. So Trent Bray is the head coach. They got a couple of transfers. Their running back returns, their best wide receiver returns. But they got Malik Murphy will be their starting quarterback. He'll be redshirt junior. Hoping to start for them, but he's from Texas, if I should include that. But it's probably still gonna be pretty rough for the old Beavers this year. Now, Washington State, on the other hand, they're going through the same thing Oregon State went through last year. Their head coach Dickert left for Wake Forest, and along with him, basically the entire roster hit the portal, including their quarterback John Matter, who is now at Oklahoma. Dak. I don't know if he's starting at Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah.
I would assume so. He was pretty good last year. They were 8-5 last year. Probably not going to do so well this year. Now, the Independents, UConn Huskies went 9-4 last year. They will not be going 9-4 this year. I don't know what the over-under is on the UConn Huskies. Oh, you like the UConn Huskies?
Their schedule's easy and it's 7.5.
You're taking the over on that, huh? All right. Jim Mora, most of the offense is returning, including starting quarterback. Only 2 starters returning on the defensive side, though, this year. So there's going to be some big question marks on the defense. They got a lot of people from the portal. But, like we say, it can sound good coming in from the portal, but we'll believe it when we see it. And then the last independent team, Notre Dame, very good chance they go 12-0 this year. They made it to the championship last year, 10-3. They did lose their quarterback, and Xavier Watts is no longer on the defensive side, but they are returning their top 2 running backs. Their offensive line looks good. Their schedule. What is the over-under for Notre Dame? Do you have that in front of you?
It's 10.5.
If they win, so their schedule, they play Miami and Texas A&M at the start of the year. They followed up with Purdue, Arkansas, Boise State, NC State, USC, Boston College, Navy, Pitt, Syracuse, Stanford.
Yeah, I mean, those first 2 games, I think you get by those. I think you're feeling pretty good.
Pretty good about the 10.5. So it's looking like Notre Dame's going to have another good year this year, though. I would be surprised if they did not make the playoffs.
Yeah, I think their odds to make the playoffs are -150.
Yes.
So
who's Notre Dame running out at quarterback? Is it a transfer in or is it?
It is. Oh, I just closed it. CJ Carr. Not CJ. Yeah, CJ Carr. He's a freshman.
Because it feels like they pick up like a 5th-year guy every single year.
Nope, it's a highly touted freshman. Anthony Rizak, the Omaha native, did not get the starting job. Still backup.
So you made one comment in there about returning starters, I believe on UConn, but it was funny as you start to hear and talk about different teams. Every year I find to like rely upon that less and less because of the portal. And you made the comment about the portal, how we got to see it. Well, every year I find myself, I guess, trusting it more just because everybody's doing it. And I think Nebraska basketball, like, I would say trusting it more, but just like not considering the returning starters because everybody's just bringing in new players anyways. And yeah, so we'll have to see what it is, but not really paying attention to, oh, this team's only returning 2 on the offense and 2 on the defense. I'm like, well, yeah, that's kind of the era we live in. And who knows what the new players are going to bring. So it's just funny. I used to factor that in a lot, especially on the offensive line when I'm thinking about teams that are going to be good. When you hear this team only returns 1 or 0 starters on their offensive line, I go, oof. Now it's like, well, they could have brought in 5 transfers. We don't know.
Right. I just don't know the quality. Like, yes, UConn probably gets okay transfers, but it's still UConn, you know?
Yeah. Oregon State and Washington State are playing twice this year.
They are playing twice this year. I forgot to mention that. Yep.
A home and home in the same year.
That's awesome. I love it. I don't know what your guys' opinion is, but a home and home in football is incredible.
Okay. The Big Four. I think I'm kicking it off with the Big 12 here, if I can find my notes. The Big 12. Here's the fun fact on this conference. There are 16 or 17 teams in the Big 12. Did I do that right? 4, 8, 12, 16. Every single team's win total is between 5.5 and 8.5. There's no bottom dwellers. There's no heavy favorites. And that, I think, was kind of shown last year when you look at the conference and what happened. Arizona State, who was the bottom dweller with a very low win total, was expected to finish last, comes out on top. They are now one of the favorites this year with Sam Levitt returning at quarterback. They obviously lose Cam Scatterbo to the NFL, but they still have a lot of momentum right now. They're at the top along with K-State, who's been there the past few years. Avery Johnson, Dylan Edwards still back there, 1-2 punch in the backfield. Chris Kleiman, I know I've talked about it before, kind of have a soft spot for K-State now. I think I'm going down to the K-State UCF game in September 27th. So that should be fun. Speaking of UCF, we all know the news around Scott Frost down there. Their win totals at 5.5. They brought in a bunch of JUCO guys this year, which personally I don't think bodes great just because of the type of players those are, but it could. Who knows for Scott Frost? Texas Tech, fun storyline with the guy that's donating his entire bank account from a former Mike Leach player to get players in. We saw it in softball. Almost panned out and bottom a national title. They lost to in-state rival Texas in the national championship game. For football, it's the same story. They got a bunch of guys coming in. Head coach Joey McGuire is building something down there for the Red Raiders, and the tortillas getting thrown on the field. It's hard to not mention about every team here. Iowa State, Matt Campbell, I've always been a pretty big fan of him. Rocco Beck still at quarterback, strong defense. They're up there still towards the top, and I think can contend to win it. Jake Redslap at BYU. Utah has been one that's been up there in the Pac-12. They still have a 7.5 win total. They got a new QB. The guy that was there last year, can't think of his name. Cam Rising, felt like he was there forever. They're still around. TCU, maybe a dark horse. Josh Hoover, quarterback, been there for a couple of years. Baylor's one that I think could sneak up on some people. Their win total is at 7.5. I wouldn't have thought that before doing this preview here, but Sawyer Robertson's their quarterback and expected to do some pretty big things in Waco. The bottom dwellers are, I don't know, Arizona, Houston, West Virginia, Oklahoma State, Gundy. That feels like that's kind of fallen off big time, but maybe they have a bounce back year. It's hard. Kansas is the other one I haven't mentioned. Their new stadium getting broken out, I believe, next year. I don't think it's this year. Maybe it is this year.
I think it's this year.
Maybe it is this year. That looks like a lot of fun. I think it is this year, actually, now that you say it, because I think K-State plays there. So, yeah, I mean, a lot going on in the Big 12, guys. If you had to pick a team to win the conference or be in the conference title game, you might as well throw a dart and see where it lands. I think it's hard, which means there is a lot of value. So if you do have a team or that you like and think that will do well, you're going to get good odds on it to win the conference. But a lot of parity. Colorado, Cincinnati. I didn't mention either one of those either, but Deion's still around. He's still hanging in the Big 12. And Cincinnati, obviously, we open up with. They're both at 6.5 wins. I think I said every team. Who? If you guys, here's one. Since it's so much parity, give me your conference title, teams, and champion.
Zach, you go first.
I think you have to go with K-State as your favorite.
Who they beating?
Well, I think the Big 12 title game might be the two playing in the Ireland game. I think it'd be K-State, Iowa State.
Go Arizona State.
Yeah. Now is Kansas quarterback coming back? I cannot remember his name.
Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, is he back, Kansas?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Well, it could be.
I believe
we'll
so.
go. And Texas Tech's getting a lot of love just because they bought their team.
Hasn't always worked for people buying teams, but they do have a better coach than some teams that get.
They're ranked preseason 24th. I'll go K-State, Iowa State.
With who winning?
K-State.
I think I also like K-State, but I like them over the Sun Devils. Arizona State.
I'm riding the portal here. I think this will be the first.
Texas Tech.
I think it'll be the first year that everybody's going to go, holy crap. This worked, and now it's going to all get capped. But I'm thinking Texas Tech over. I'll go K-State.
Do you remember Texas A&M trying the same thing?
Yeah.
How'd that work out?
Not great.
Not great.
Well,
no.
Worked out great for Jimbo.
Yeah, you got paid a lot to not be doing anything.
All right. The big, bad SEC.
All right, we'll start out the key players here. And it's all quarterbacks. So we have Manoris Sellers at South Carolina's coming back. He's a dual threat quarterback. He was very good last year. I'd expect same thing this year. They should be very good this year. Then we got DJ Lagway at Florida. He's kind of another dual threat quarterback. He came on at the end of the year. Should improve a lot. And then we got the two new QBs at the big schools, Ty Simpson and Gunnar Stockton at Alabama and Georgia. Then we got John Mateer at Oklahoma. He should be very good. Like put your money on him with a Heisman. And then last but least, Arch Manning at Texas. So we got the top 10 SEC title contenders here. This is what they ranked them. 1 is Georgia, 1 is Texas, 2 is Georgia, 3 Bama, 4 Ole Miss, 5 South Carolina, 6 Tennessee, 7 LSU, 8 A&M, 9 Florida, 10 OU. That top 5 is supposed to be like a toss-up with Texas, Georgia, Bama, Ole Miss, South Carolina. If March Manning is as good what they say, Texas is actually going to be very good this year, but it all leans on him, I guess. But I really like South Carolina in this conference. I think Norris Sellers is going to win the Heisman and going to be a top player, in the nation. Key games here, it's a lot of Georgia. They have a very tough schedule. We got Georgia at Tennessee September 13th, Georgia at Bama September 28th, Ole Miss at LSU October 12th, Georgia at Texas October 19th, and Texas at A&M November 30th, and then Grok did not put this in as a key game. I don't know how, but I did. OU and Texas October 11th. Must think that Texas is going to suck. That's why they didn't put that in as a
Or OU.
Actually going to that game finally for the first time. All right. Key storylines here. Texas, Georgia, and Bama all have new QBs. So the top 3 teams in the conference are rolling out new QBs. Then we got Ole Miss, South Carolina supposed to be sleeper teams. Grok did tell me that Jackson Dart was coming back. While Austin was talking about the independents, I looked it up because there's no way he's coming back. He's not. So I don't know who Ole Miss quarterback's going to be.
Yeah, I will say this too. When I was using ChatGPT, especially for these other conferences, it was like a year behind on a lot of the stuff, and so I had to yell at it and say, "No, you're doing 2024/7, not 2025," and to be like, "Yep, you're right," and it would revise it. I don't know why it did that, even though I put 2025 to start, but yeah, I had the same issue. So
yeah, I was like, "There's no way Jackson Dart's back in," but he's actually New York Giants, so he will not be their quarterback. Another key storyline is, can OU rebound with their transfer QB? If not, Brent Venables will be gone. He's probably on the he is on the hottest seat in this conference. And then another key storyline is, will Steve Sarkisian win anything ever?
no, I don't think he's a good coach.
Really?
No, I don't think he's. I shouldn't say that. He's a good coach. I don't think he's an elite coach. I don't think he's. I would not have him in my top 10 of coaches in college football, probably.
Yeah, I was gonna say, will he win everyone a playoff game? I made that last one up. That was not on AI, but then
Dak, it's your opinion, and that's what you should be sharing on a podcast. So great.
I forgot that they did beat Arizona State barely. So I guess you can count that as a playoff win, but yeah, he's terrible when it comes to Big 12 title games or playoff games. Who do you guys think is going to come out of this conference? I already said South Carolina.
Do we like LSU? LSU is the one that I struggle with Brian Kelly as well. Speaking of elite coaches, there's times I think he's got it figured out, and then there's times I'm like, what in the world is going on with Brian Kelly? So they're one that I think is hard. I think Garrett Nussmeier, I think, is
I like him.
one of the favorites to win the Heisman as well. So I think that like that maybe could bode well for them. I mean, the safe play is Georgia, but Dak, you mentioned their schedule's brutal this year. So it's brutal, but I think they only have like 3 true road games, if I remember right. Because Georgia Tech moved their home game or to a neutral site to make more money, I believe. So
Well, that's smart.
I don't
Are we out on Alabama? Second year
Oh.
under head coach.
I mean, if it's going to work, this year's going to be the year they pop, I think.
I mean, I haven't heard too much about Ty Simpson.
They
he's
got
supposed
the OC is from the guy that DeBoer, is that my
Kalen
saying
DeBoer.
that right? Kalen
Yep.
DeBoer. There we go. I was like, something doesn't sound right. Kalen DeBoer, like the OC that he had for like 12 years, is finally back with him after a year away, and that's what made him so good at Washington. So I think I like Alabama.
Vandy, no love for Vandy.
No love for Vandy.
You know what? Their win total is at 4.5. I think it's the highest it's been in a while.
Good for them.
A&M, Elko.
I just won't trust A&M until they do anything.
Yeah.
They always get hype in. What's their win total?
It could be any of them, because like if you drop one game, all of a sudden you're out of the SEC championship game.
7.5 is A&M's win total.
So they're not getting as much hype as they normally get. Yeah, I'm not big on A&M. Prove it for them.
Auburn's kind of fallen off.
Yeah, Auburn's gonna be bad.
Arkansas, Pittman surviving for his life down there. Mississippi State's actually lower than Vandy in the win totals, believe it or not.
Well, I forgot to put this in the key storylines. How about Napier flipping last year from beginning of the year like the worst coach in the nation to now getting all this hype?
That's true.
Florida?
Yeah.
I think Florida's gonna be really good this year.
Yeah, Napier was big time hot seat last year, and they had a pretty solid year. Yeah, I mean, I think
it's Texas's conference to lose at this point, but of teams to make the championship, I think Alabama would probably be my second choice.
Yeah, it is, but at the same time, I think Dak's right with the SEC, and you know, it used to be you could pinpoint really conference to lose with Georgia and Alabama, with everybody else kind of just itching at them. I'm with Dak here, where like it's jumbled at the top, I think. I mean, between Texas, Georgia, Alabama, those 3 for sure. And then if you want to throw in your LSU, Ole Miss, Tennessee, who are all right there behind them at 8.5. I mean, you got a lot of teams that could compete, and your bottom dwellers, quote unquote, like they can all win in a given week. Like you're not, well, you could see it, but very rarely are you going to see one of these top teams going and beating Vandy by 50 anymore, like they used to 5 years ago. Like they're going to be closer games, and games that at any given week, some of these lower teams could win. I mean, you almost saw Auburn last year beating Alabama. Or was that, maybe that was a couple of years ago, that crazy game 2 years ago, when that crazy at the end of the almost cost Alabama their playoff berth, and they went on to win it. Or did they win it? I can't even remember what happened with Alabama that year, but
2 years ago, Michigan won it all.
Yeah. So they didn't win it, but anyways,
Alabama lost in the championship to Michigan, if I remember correctly.
So Dak, I like South Carolina too. I think they're definitely the definition of a dark horse.
So I got two big questions for you guys here on this conference. Are you guys big on the Arch Manning hype, and will Venables turn around in Oklahoma?
Venables won't turn around in Oklahoma. Not big on Arch Manning hype. I think he's going to be I think he'll be a good quarterback because he has a lot of good talent around him. He's going to look good, but I don't think he's going to be groundbreaking, earth-shattering, I should say.
I just don't believe in Sark. I don't. So like, is Arch good? Yeah. Will he probably make a decent NFL quarterback potentially and give at least get a chance because of his name, of course. Do I think that they're going to break through and go 12-0 and run the tape? No. Like I do not believe that they deserve all the hype that they're getting. I think a lot of it's just name hype. Oklahoma, do I think he'll turn it around? No. Do I think he'll have a good enough year that he retains his job? Yes.
Wow. I mean, it'd have to be.
And that's probably worst case scenario for you, right, Dak? That he just
I don't
rides
know.
out at 7-5 and just floats there for about 3 or 4 years, and they just can't decide whether they want to do with him.
I don't know. I love what he's done with defense. It's just, I mean, he's completely flipped around what Oklahoma normally is. Their defense was great last year, but their offense was absolutely terrible. So if he can figure out anything on the offensive side, I like him.
Like the reverse Lincoln.
Yeah, and I
The
can't even
anti-Lincoln.
comment. I can't even comment on the Arch Manning hype because I'll be too biased. I hope he sucks. He's quick. He's actually quicker than what people think too. That's the scary part.
Looks good on the ground. I think
Yeah.
he'll be good. But do I think he's going to win the Heisman this year? No.
The other team we haven't talked at all about is Josh Heupel in Tennessee, which maybe because we haven't talked about him is maybe a reason why to call him a sleeper.
Sure.
I mean, their win total, and I mean, they're right there. They've been there past couple of years. Well, yeah, we haven't even mentioned them. Obviously, Nico Iamaleava went to UCLA. But
We got to take a class on these Polynesian names. I struggle with them. There's too many
it's
vowels.
tough. It's tough.
They're big on their quarterback down there.
Who'd they get?
I cannot. It's a freshman, I'm pretty sure, or sophomore.
I think you're right.
And I cannot remember what his name is, but they are big on him down. Like they were thinking about starting, even if Nico stayed, which is the reason why I think he kind of left. I mean, there's other reasons too, but they're thinking about putting this guy in over Nico.
Joey Aguilar,
Yep.
Oh, Aguilar. He is a senior. He transferred from.
Appalachian State after a stint at UCLA.
That's right.
Run for 6,000 yards and 50 touchdowns during his time at Appalachian State.
Oh,
Last year, he had 23 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, 3,000 yards.
Austin, you gonna say the Big Ten for last? I'll do the ACC quick.
Yeah, we'll probably have more comments on the Big Ten. So,
Yep. There's some comments here on the ACC, but Clemson, your favorites, along with Miami. Maybe throw in Louisville. We'll talk about Florida State. Clemson with Cade Klubnik, Dabo. Even though they're the favorites, guys, Dabo's got a lot of pressure, I think, to win something based on what has happened the past few years. He was very anti-portal. He's coming around on it now, but still lagging behind everybody, and that's cost him. In the grand scheme of things, their win total is 9.5, and it's very heavily favored to the overs. Cade Klubnik is one of the Heisman favorites as well. Competing with them, I mentioned Miami. Carson Beck coming over from Georgia. I believe got like a $3 million deal out of that. Miami, Cristobal, they got a lot of talent down there. We know that. SMU last year, made the run and played in the title game with Kevin Jennings. I think he's back again. That could have been a ChatGPT error as well, but I think he's back. Florida State, 2 wins last year, guys. Mike Norvell is now in year 5. They take Tony White from us. They bring in Boston College quarterback Tommy Castellanos. They maybe could make a run at it again. Their win total is all the way back up at 7.5. NC State's got a damn good wide receiver in Kevin Concepcion. Louisville and Jeff Brom. Miller Moss comes over from USC. I've always been a big Jeff Brom guy. They're another team that could compete here for a title. 8.5 win total there. Georgia Tech may be a sleeper that could be doing a lot of things. Their win total is actually 7.5, but Brent Key, another guy that's up and coming in the college football ranks. He's going to be a hot commodity, I think, at larger schools if there's any movement at the top. Haynes King's back at quarterback there. And then probably the last storyline, the most that's gotten maybe some of the most attention in the offseason nationally, is Bill Belichick coming over North Carolina. They played TCU in their opening game. We'll see how that works. Do you guys have any opinions or thoughts on, is this like long term? Is this a stint? Is this like I'm gonna call it a joke, but like, is what's the whole take on Bill Belichick, given that it's gotten a lot of attention here over the past few months?
Can't be that long term. He's pretty freaking old.
Good point.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say right there. You can't. I
Uh,
mean, would you call 5 years for him long term?
that's long term for any coach these days.
Yep.
I guess you had to. Do you guys think he makes it 5 years?
No.
No.
I just
I
don't
don't
know
know.
how. I don't know how these college kids are going to take his hard-nosed coaching.
It's nice because they don't have any bad habits that he has to, coach hard out of them. But I don't know. I, it feels wrong. I don't like it. That's my take.
I'm excited to watch it. Like,
Yeah, I want to see what happens because I mean, there's a world ACC is not that strong. It could work out. It could.
I don't think there's any in between with him. I think it's going to go either absolutely fantastic or just be atrocious, and he's gone in a year and a half, 2 years.
Either that or it's going to go really well, and someone else is going to come call.
Because are Clemson and Miami the only two preseason top 25s?
I believe so. Yeah, maybe Louisville cracked in there.
Well, I didn't even think about this. He's probably doing this so his son can be the coach after he's gone.
Maybe.
Maybe.
No guarantee. It's not the NFL.
Cal and Stanford also in this conference. I didn't mention, but the lovely West Coast 3-hour time difference travel that a lot of these teams have to face. Yeah, Syracuse lost Kyle McCord. Their win totals down quite a bit. Duke, maybe a dark horse. I'm hanging around there. Virginia, I don't like them. Boston College, we saw them in the bowl game. Not a big fan. Wake Forest. Yeah, if I had to pick a team here potentially, here is the fun thing. If the Bill Belichick thing does work, like, it's worth taking a shot on them to win the conference. Just throw out $5 on it. I think you get very, very nice odds on it. Georgia Tech's a team that I kind of like this year to make some noise. The Clemson thing's the thing. Can you compete with Clemson? I mean, even more so than what we talked about with the SEC. It's really is Clemson's conference to lose, I think. And it has been the past several years. Can Miami make some noise? But Clemson's about right at even odds to win the conference this year. I think they'll at least be playing in the conference title game.
Good ACC talk. We'll talk about the one team that wins their championship in the playoffs again.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other topic with the ACC is how they fit into this whole playoff conversation. They're the Big 12 kind of, but they're the ones that are the outsiders that are trying to get their seat at the big table, and they just can't seem to do it. And I don't know if they ever will, unless this year they, win some I don't even know what their non-conference cross games are, if they have any, but they got to prove, I think, to people that they're worthy to compete with some of the top teams in the SEC and the Big Ten. But they have not done so yet. Not when you take SMU in the first year. SMU comes in first year and does what they did to the ACC. That does not look good on your conference.
Nope, it does not. All right,
Okay, Big
Ten.
Ten. Let's round it out.
So it's similar to last year where we had those tiers. We had the top tier, the mid-league tier, and then the bottom dwellers. I do think the middle tier is thinned up a little bit this year in comparison to last year. I do think there's kind of an additional tier. So you have your top tier, which would be it's going to be your Penn State, Ohio State, Oregon. Those three are clear favorites. All three were in contention last year for a national title. All three are in contention this year for a national title.
All three 10.5 win totals.
All three 10.5 win totals. So take one of those unders. Well, actually, you might not even have to take one of those unders. But having three teams with 11 wins that'd be a lot in a conference. So I feel like one of those teams is probably going to have a 10-win season. But it's tough to see. And then you have a second tier, which is the new tier this year, which I think is going to be Michigan and Indiana and Illinois. I think they kind of rose to the top of that middle tier. Michigan last year, they kind of came on late. They ended up winning their last 3 games, and they had a terrible quarterback. They did not throw the ball very well at all. They have a new freshman that they stole from LSU, 5-star quarterback Underwood coming in. So their passing game's a little bit better. Indiana will probably take a step back a little bit this year. They also have a new quarterback. But I still think that they'll be a 10-win team. And then Illinois also last year had a surprising 10-win season. And they're returning a lot of their key players from last year, so they'll probably be up there as well.
Are we buying the Illinois hype? Like, that's the one team in the Big Ten. Penn State, we can talk about them, but Illinois is the one that I just keep hearing just massive expectations for. I mean, you're talking playoff berth, winning games in playoffs. I mean, I've been a Brett Bielema fan. But yeah, that's the one team I think just getting a lot of preseason hype this year.
So they won 10 games last year. 16 of their stars are returning. Let me pull up their schedule real quick. I have it on this page.
I mean, it's because of their quarterback, right?
Yeah, I mean, Luke Altmaier is a good quarterback, and
he's not great by any means.
You make the comments. The Big Ten doesn't have great quarterbacks. He's not a top 10 Heisman guy.
I will say of the top teams, Penn State's returning quarterback, but Ohio State new quarterback, Oregon new quarterback, Michigan new quarterback, Indiana new quarterback. Illinois has got returning quarterback. USC, I don't know if they have a new quarterback.
It's kind of a new quarterback, Miller Moss.
Because they had
Jaden Mayava.
There's a quarterback battle, right?
Yeah. Jaden Mayava's who played against us.
Iowa new quarterback.
Which we got to get into him.
So Illinois' schedule: Western Illinois, Duke, Western Michigan, Indiana, USC, Purdue, Ohio State, Washington, Rutgers, Maryland, Wisconsin, Northwestern. That's a pretty good schedule in the Big Ten. I mean, you have Ohio State, but your next hardest game is Indiana, which we probably all agree Indiana's not on the same caliber as Ohio State, Oregon State, Penn State.
What about Indiana? Like, obviously last year did what they did. I think everybody's expecting a decline, but how much?
They're not going to win 11 games. I think 10 games is very doable. I mean, they got a Cal transfer quarterback, Fernando Mendoza. But Cignetti kind of showed that, he could do it with transfers. Now you're starting to get transfers he wasn't coaching before, so now you have the new system aspect. But their top 3 defensive players are coming back from last year as well. And I don't think they lost any of their coordinators either. And they held teams to 15.6 points last year. Now they had an easier schedule, but I think Indiana has a similar schedule.
Fade them for me. Fade them. I think they're going back to 7 wins, 6 wins. I think they're going to fall off. Teams are going to be ready for them this year. I think they caught a lot of teams by surprise, and that's credit to Cignetti and everything they did. There's no discredit to them, but
7 or 6.
I have them. I think they're going to lose up to some games that they won last year. I just don't think that teams are going to be surprised by what they see now from Indiana. Whereas last year they were like, oh crap! I mean, including Nebraska.
Yes. We got
walloped.
Throttled. I mean, they play they play Penn State, Oregon, then their next toughest game is Illinois, and then their next toughest game is UCLA, Wisconsin, Maryland.
Yeah, I mean,
You know?
I could see him. I could see him losing a couple of those, not to Maryland, but
They never play anybody harder than non-conference, and they're supposed to play decent teams like these years coming up, and they're buying out of those games to play easier teams.
You don't think Old Dominion's a tough game?
And
What
I take
about
that back.
Kennesaw
I take that back. They play some really tough opponents in the no.
State? So that kind of rounds out that second the upper tier of the middle tier. And then it's kind of our tier where it's us, Iowa, USC, Washington, maybe throw Minnesota and Wisconsin into that. And then the bottom tier, your Rutgers, Maryland, Northwestern, maybe Michigan State and UCLA, probably on the top end of that tier. But
yeah, I mean, from a win total perspective, it definitely you can see the tiers kind of drop off as they go.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I think,
like putting us in tier 3 is still hard for me, but I think
I think we're towards the top of tier 3.
A lot of these schedules are factored in here too.
Yes.
That's why I mentioned, our schedule being a little bit easier than what we've had in the past. I think that also helps where our win total is at. We're right there with, like you said, Minnesota and Iowa. And Wisconsin, on the other hand, their schedule is a lot tougher, and they're down at 5.5.
Yep.
So it's hard. Like, again, where do we stack up against your USC's, Washington's, these teams? I don't know. It's just a big jumbled group there. It's kind of like the SEC where there's a lot of teams. I think there's a little more separation than the SEC here, but I don't know. It's hard to tell. What's Michigan going to do this year? That's hard to say.
I will say because what's the current over under for Iowa?
They're 7.5.
See, I think that's an over. Don't you think? I don't know.
It could be. I mean, their schedules. They've been the ones that talk about easy schedules year after year. I think I do like the over on that too, as much as I hate to say it. But they find ways to win games. They do every year.
But you look at their schedule, and it's like, what 5 games do they lose? Iowa State, Oregon, Penn State. And then it's like, okay, if they lose to Indiana, then they still have another game that they could lose, which is going to be Nebraska, obviously. So, I mean, that's your 7.5, I guess.
So that tier you just said, I would put that tier as the coaches that need to prove it this year. Like all those teams that you met, besides Iowa, that guy's gonna be there forever. But all
USC,
coaches,
Nebraska, Washington, Minnesota,
Wisconsin.
Yep, all of them.
That's a good point. They probably exclude
Washington, I guess. Probably, yeah,
because it's a second year, and he went 6-6 in his first year after having his entire team gutted.
Yeah, he's probably safe, but the other teams for sure. And I would put who would you put on the hottest seat out of those teams we just mentioned? I'd put Fickle.
Lincoln Riley,
probably.
Okay,
yeah, I'd put Fickle.
I don't know. Lincoln Riley gets paid a lot to lose.
Him too.
Washington, new defensive coordinator, Ryan Walters, former Purdue head coach.
I wouldn't say PJ Fleck is on the hot seat, but I don't think they're going to keep him if they keep winning 7 games.
Minnesota is definitely a program that's going to be a little more Iowa-y as far as patience with their coaches.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to be pretty good this year, actually.
As far as bottom dweller teams like Maryland, I think Loxley's they got to win some or he's gone. Purdue's got maybe a little bit of leeway here, but they're way down there. Michigan State, Jonathan Smith, I think you're probably going to see some progress here potentially, but again, all these schools, like you mentioned, you're not given 5 years anymore, 6 years to turn a program around. That's just not going to happen in today's environment. So, when we're talking year 2 and even with Jed Fish at Washington, it's like, okay, yeah, you won 6 games. They're not going to settle for a 4-8 year. I mean, they might keep him for one more year, but
that's why I don't think he's on a hot seat. I think he could go 4-8 and not get fired.
Correct. So we did skip over the top here a little bit. with Ohio State.
What's to
Oregon,
say
Penn
that hasn't
State.
been said? Penn State's, a lot of people think Penn State's going to be the favorite.
It's that talk about hype.
It's tough.
It's there.
Penn State always has that hype, though. But they do have a returning quarterback. Ohio State has a new quarterback. They still kind of have a quarterback battle, is my understanding. They're not set on Julian, saying it's definitely leaning that way. And then Oregon, Dante Moore, former UCLA quarterback who's been sat behind Dylan Gabriel last year, should be getting the start this year. But they lost quite a few players too.
Yeah, all their odds are between plus 200 and plus 300. Those
three teams at 10.5, though. I mean, which team would you take to not hit their overs?
Yeah,
Probably Oregon.
I think I agree.
maybe
Even though they were
without
the best team
without looking at their schedule. Yeah, I might go Ohio State just because I think they won their natty and maybe aren't as hungry.
Got a little fat.
And Ryan Day's like, I guess they'll kind of hate like he was until he won the natty. He was going to get fired until they won it.
I mean, me and you could play QB for them. Just throw the ball to Jeremiah Smith. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't, but
Come get the ball from me.
got a pick here for the Big Ten conference title game.
I struggle to pick Penn State. I really do. I know I should.
I'm going to go Oregon over Penn State.
Wow.
See, I was also thinking Ohio State over Penn State.
I just think Penn State will lose a big game like they always do.
I think it'll be Penn State over. God, I want to go different, but Penn State over Ohio State.
And it could be over Michigan. Michigan's not. I mean, really like their quarterback play was.
Are we the next year. Indiana, Nebraska? Throw us in there.
No.
I mean, you win all your conference games at Penn State, you're probably in. Could be. It'd be close.
That's
a lot
true.
Of hype. A lot of hype on you guys from the Barstool College Football Show.
Yep.
I think
I googled
three out of 5 I do is the most surprising team.
Yeah, I chat GBT'd the Heisman odds. I said, what are the Heisman odds? And at Dark Horse, there are 2 of them, and Dylan was one of them.
I'm not going to say it's impossible. We have to beat Michigan, but if Michigan beats us, I do think it's very possible Michigan's in. Because they could, if they beat Oklahoma and us, they could easily go into their last game at home against Ohio State undefeated.
And they're winning that.
And they're probably winning that. And then Ryan Day gets fired on the spot after Ryan Day goes 11-0 as well.
Michigan's hard because you just don't know with Bryce Underwood. You just don't know. Freshman quarterback, and you could end up being
really Moore's got a couple. He's got some suspensions to serve, but they were 8-5 last year. They weren't.
Now
they weren't nobody. Not hard to see a couple of game switch.
Now we have not talked about the big storyline. Did you guys see that sick ass pass that Iowa's quarterback had on the sideline the other day?
No.
I don't want to talk about this guy. What's his name?
He's from South Dakota State, and he's getting. I don't know if he's just getting hyped from Iowa fans or nationwide, but I tweeted out the other day. You got to look at it, Austin.
Dak, you always keep bringing up how this guy's ahead of Dylan in whatever one ranking that you saw.
The Athletic ranked him 37th, Dylan 38th.
If Iowa State calls those plays in a game, maybe I'll start to think about it. If I remember correctly, last year they also had a lot of receivers that dropped a lot of passes.
I don't know. I think Ferentz can coach quarterback out of anybody.
Yeah, and he'll be there as long as he wants to be. Okay, before we close out here today, I want to go through the Heisman odds. We've named, I think, everybody. Yes, we have on this list. So you guys, without looking at them, if you have them up, you're out of this game. But start throwing out some guys. See if you can name the top 10.
Arch Manning's one.
One.
Oh,
I
the
guess.
guy said it's gonna win it. Sellers.
Lenore Sellers is 7.
Um,
Is
LSU.
Mateer in it?
Garrett Nussmeyer, number 2.
Nussmeier. Thank you.
Mateer's not.
There's probably a running back for Notre Dame.
No running backs.
No running
Wow.
backs. Okay.
DJ Lightway.
DJ Lagway's 9. There's
Jeremiah Smith.
Yep, as a 1 receiver, Jeremiah Smith, he's 4.
Have we said Arch Manning?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
We're missing 3.
Missing a couple. I'll just name him. Cade Klubnik
Oh yeah.
Oh, Clemson.
is at number 3. Drew Aller is at 5. Dante Moore from Oregon's at 6. Julian Sayin from Ohio State's at 8. And Carson Beck from Miami, former Georgia quarterbacks, at 10. All these odds are from Bet MGM. Any of those guys, Dak, you mentioned Lenore Sellers. This Heisman's maybe a little bit different. It's not so much you have to win the Natty or be in the top 4. It's probably make the playoffs for you to be in there. I agree, Dak. If South Carolina can be that dark horse, Lenore's is going to have a pretty good chance. I don't mind those odds. I think in my mind, someone like Cade Klubnik from Clemson, if they do what they could in the ACC and Dabo proves himself, he's going to be up there. DJ Lagway, same way with Florida, just like Lenore Sellers. Like, he leads them to a playoff berth. He's probably in high contention for winning the Heisman. I struggle with someone like Julian Sayin winning it from Ohio State because of what you said, Dak, with the talent they have at receiver. Drew Aller, I struggle with him. Like he's going to put up numbers, and they just don't do like in the Big Ten. That's not the style.
They have a running back
that's
going
to.
Yes.
Carson Beck, same thing with Miami. Like he's got a little higher odds, but if Miami can make a run and go 11-1, like he's probably the reason why.
That's one. I think if you're gonna go light money on fire, put money on it. I'm not big on Carson Beck. I didn't think he was that good at Georgia.
No, I agree. I don't think that's probably going to pan out. But
no, I don't think he's that good of a quarterback.
Dak, I'm kind of with you. Like go throw some on Lagway, Sellers. Just try to think of the narrative, the things that have to happen for these guys to do well. I mean, I think that's it right there. It's going to be hard. I mean, Arch, obviously, if Texas runs the table, it's going to be his to lose. But
what is his odds?
Plus 600.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't take that, but
10 to win 60.
I wouldn't take that, but all these Texas fans listening, go ahead.
All right, conference preview. Wrapping it up here. So next week we'll be back. We'll do some detailed Husker talk. We'll go through the offense, defense, special teams.
I guess sorry, don't make it real quick. Gut check. What's the best conference this year?
SEC.
Yeah,
SEC.
I can't go away from that. SEC.
I just know the top of the Big Ten, they're getting a lot of love. So I didn't know if that changed.
It's only 3 though, and the SEC I think has 5 or 6. That's what still makes it hard for me.
It's just the Big Ten with all the new QBs. It's tough to. You have no idea.
Okay.
No love for the ACC.
No love for the ACC.
How about our Big 12 that's got everybody between 5.5 and 8.5?
Big 12 is going to be fun come playoff discussion time because they're going to be the 10 through 16.
Yeah, if we're talking most fun to watch, Big 12.
Probably true.
Guys, it's funny. They're gonna get their one team in maybe, and that's it. Just because they all are gonna beat each other up because they're also evenly matched.
If Colorado could have a losing season, that'd be cool. That's really outside of the Big Ten. That's the only thing I'm rooting for, and the Pac-2.
I completely forgot about this for Heisman odds. I guess Avery Johnson would be a one you could throw out there.
He's probably shortly after that, but yeah, he'd be like a dark horse. Yep. I like it, Dak. And Dylan Raiola. Again, Nebraska makes the playoffs. Guys, Nebraska makes the playoffs. He's winning the freaking Heisman or pretty damn close to it. Because again, he's the reason why. It's because our offense just pops. And again, talk about a narrative. That would be the narrative right there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll be back Monday.
Do that.
Go Big Red.
PBR.
Go Big Red.